This story is titled, I thought the group chat was for birthday planning. Turns out, it was where my family shared memes about me. One said, imagine being this useless. I replied with a screenshot of my lawyer's letter. Now the house is for sale, my sister's engagement is off, and everyone's begging. We were just joking. I really thought the group chat was for planning my birthday. That's how my sister pitched it. Some surprise thing she wanted to coordinate with the cousins and my parents. I'm not some emotionally needy guy who expects the world on his birthday, but after the year I've had, the thought of them actually remembering me in a good way felt nice. Huh, right. So let me introduce you to the cast of this heartwarming tale. There's me, 35M, the family screw up apparently. Then there's my sister Callie, 32F, who peaked in high school but doesn't know it yet. Think pageant smile, influencer vibes, and an uncanny ability to cry on command. Our mom, 60F, bless her eternal devotion to passive aggression, and dad, 63M, who's been tuned out since dial-up. There's also my cousin Jared, 29M, who once got blackout drunk and live-streamed his own bachelor party, so of course, he's the tech genius in charge of the group chat. Anyway, it started simple. I noticed the group got a little more active a couple weeks before my birthday. I figured they were coordinating something sweet, maybe a dinner or a cake. Every now and then I'd see a message pop up, but nothing unusual. Just emojis, some memes, whatever. I didn't dig. Until one day, I clicked View All Media. That's when I saw it. A folder labeled LOL full of memes about me. One with my old resume and the caption, imagine being this useless. Another with a screenshot of my old LinkedIn and a laughing gif from The Office. A pic of me from last year's barbecue where I tripped over a sprinkler with the caption, beta male behavior detected. And the best part? These weren't old jokes. The timestamps were from last week. Callie posted most of them. Mom reacted to every single one with a laughing emoji. Jared added one of those crying laughing gifs with my face poorly photoshopped on a sad clown. So instead of confronting them like a rational adult, because, surprise, I'm done playing the rational adult, I screenshotted the whole damn thing. Then I called my lawyer. You see, what they didn't know was that 2 months ago, I inherited the deed to the lake house from our grandfather. It was supposed to be split between me and Callie, but Grandpa updated the will before he passed, made it very clear, leave it to the only one who actually visited me. That one? Yours truly. I hadn't told anyone yet. I was waiting to sort out the paperwork, get the utilities transferred, start cleaning the place up. But apparently, while I was planning paint swatches and imagining summers by the water, my family was busy turning me into a meme folder. So on the morning of my birthday, I replied in the chat. Just one image, a PDF of a letter from my lawyer, formally notifying them of the ownership transfer and my intention to sell. I didn't say a word, just dropped the bomb and logged off. 10 minutes later, ding 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 ding. Callie, WTF is this? Mom, is this some kind of joke? Jared, bro, what are you doing? Followed by a string of missed calls, voicemails, and, my personal favorite, a text from my dad that just said, your sister is crying. Good. Because guess who had plans to use that lake house for her bachelorette party next month? Guess who already promised it to her fiancé's family for their summer getaway? Guess who told all her bridesmaids they wouldn't need hotel rooms because my brothers got the place, it's basically mine anyway? Oops. Now the wedding's off. The house is getting listed next week. And I've received more, we were just joking messages than a guy who walked in on his friends mocking him behind his back. So, Reddit, ATA for not finding it funny? So you know that moment when you drop a truth bomb, then step back and wait for the blast radius? Yeah, that was me, watching the group chat blow up while sipping my coffee from a mug that said world's okayest brother, a gift from Callie, ironically, the year she forgot my birthday. The voicemails were chaos. Callie sobbing like she'd been personally victimized by Regina George. Mom doing her breathy martyr voice. I just don't understand why you do this to us. Jared trying to play mediator, offering to talk it out like grown-ups, as if he hadn't been the one who captioned a photo of me mowing my lawn with live footage of a man achieving nothing. I let it marinate for 48 hours. No texts, no calls, no response, just quiet. Then came the escalation. Callie showed up at my apartment, in full meltdown mode. Mascara running, voice cracking, ugly crying. She opened with, you ruined my life, which honestly was dramatic even by her standards. I didn't let her in. Just stood in the doorway with a face that said, girl, I've seen your IG stories. You'll be fine. She begged, apologized, swore she didn't mean any of it. It was just for laughs. Everyone in the family makes jokes. Then she slipped and said, you always overreact. Always. That word hit me harder than the memes. Because always means this wasn't new. It means there were years of these jokes, these jabs, and I was just too desperate for approval to catch on. I was the family clown, the "oh, don't take it so seriously" guy. The rescue dog. Pet him on the head and he'll roll over. So I told her, the house is mine. I'm selling it. You want to throw lake parties? Book an Airbnb. She left calling me selfish. Then posted a black and white Instagram story with some quote about betrayal and blood not meaning family. I screenshotted it and added it to my lawsuit folder. That one's thick now. Next day, I get a call from Uncle Mike. Haven't talked to the man in a year. He opens with, "Hey champ, heard there's been a little misunderstanding." Ah, yes. The misunderstanding where your niece and sister mocked me for years in a group chat and are now mad I won't hand over lakefront property like some sucker with a trust fund and low self-esteem. He tried the guilt trip. It was your grandfather's wish that you all stay close. That place brought the family together. No, Mike. It brought the illusion of family together. And now it's going to bring me a down payment on a house that doesn't smell like entitlement and Axe body spray. I hung up. Then the messages started coming from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Cousins. Great aunts. Even someone I swear I only met once at a funeral who said, "You're really breaking your mother's heart." Good. Maybe she can glue the pieces back together using one of those laughing emojis she slapped on a meme of me failing to fix a sink. But the kicker? Ruth. My mom. She sent me a letter. An actual handwritten letter like we're living in Victorian England, and I'm a wayward duke who forgot his manners. It was 3 pages of guilt-laced prose about how families tease and poke fun, and how my decision to go nuclear over a joke was deeply hurtful and alienating. She ended it with, "You've always been sensitive." And that, right there, is why I'm selling the house. Because I've spent my entire life trying not to be the problem, laughing along, letting the little jabs pass, smiling through roast dinners where the meat wasn't the only thing carved up. I told myself it was fine, that one day I'd be seen, respected, maybe even appreciated. But that never came. What had come was a trophy one Christmas with a post-it note. Best at being mediocre. That one was from Jared. Everyone laughed. I didn't. So, read it. Now I'm the villain in the family narrative. The selfish brother. The cold-hearted son. The guy who burned the family bridge just because he got tired of being walked on. But here's the truth they can't meme away. The moment I stopped needing their approval, I got my power back. The for sale sign goes up Friday. Already got 2 offers over asking. And Callie? She texted me this morning. Please don't sell yet. I just need some time to fix things. I haven't replied, but I did send her a Zillow link for a 2-bedroom rental. Has a nice little patio. Great for bachelorette vibes. So apparently selling the lake house was too far. Funny. I didn't realize the line existed after they turned me into a walking punchline with captions. Callie's wedding is on life support now. The groom's family backed out of hosting the engagement party when they found out the venue, the free lakeside cabin she swore was in the family forever, was actually hitting the market. They didn't appreciate being told they'd have to figure something out 2 weeks before the event. Guess people get touchy when reality ruins their curated Pinterest fantasy. The engagement ring's been off, and on so many times it might qualify for frequent flyer miles. But let me tell you about the best part, the family meeting. Yes, they actually scheduled one. It started with a text from Mom. "We'd like to have a mature conversation as a family. Please come over Sunday at 3. No location needed." I knew it would be at the house I grew up in, the one where empathy went to die. I almost didn't go, but some part of me wanted to see what kind of stage play they'd put on now that they weren't in control of the script. I showed up 10 minutes late. Petty, I know, but I needed to let them sweat. They were all there. Callie, in full emotional hostage mode. Mom, clutching a tissue like she was auditioning for a Hallmark tragedy. Dad, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else, which, in his defense, has been his default setting for most of my life. Jared was on his phone the entire time, probably checking Reddit for new memes to steal. Mom opened with, "We love you. This thing, it's just a misunderstanding that got out of hand." Ah yes, the misunderstanding, where you spent years publicly mocking your son and now want the lake house back before the open house Saturday. Touching. Callie tried the rebrand next. Suddenly, she was all about forgiveness and unity. "You're my big brother. We've always had a complicated bond, but I never meant to hurt you." Right. Like that time she used a photo of my failed landscaping project for a "men at work"-ish meme and tagged everyone in the family except me. I let them talk. Let them dig their holes deeper with every half-hearted apology wrapped in a demand. Then I pulled out Grandpa's letter. Not the lawyer one. The real one. The one I found tucked into the back of a deed folder. It was written in his usual chicken scratch and started with, "If they're reading this, It means they pushed you too far. Good. Turns out Grandpa knew exactly what kind of people he raised. He saw through the smiles and roast-style jokes they claimed were family tradition. He even mentioned Callie by name. She'll be the loudest. She always was when she didn't get her way. Don't fall for it. But the real kicker? He left me more than the house. Grandpa had a second account. Small, nothing huge, but enough. 10 grand. Sitting in a credit union nobody knew about. Earmarked for starting fresh in case they ever break you down too far. I'd already moved the funds. I laid the letter on the table and slid it forward like an ace in poker. Mom scanned it, face twitching. Callie went pale. Jared finally looked up from his phone. "This can't be real," she said. It was. And it was so real, I had copies. I stood up, told them this wasn't about a house or a meme or an Instagram caption. This was about every year I swallowed my pride while they chipped away at my dignity and called it love. It was about a man who saw what they refused to and gave me the one thing they never did, a reason to walk away with my head up. Before I left, I looked at my mom. If you ever wonder why I went no contact, just read the comments under Callie's posts. Everyone else already gets it. Walked out without slamming the door. I wanted them to hear the silence. Later that night, Callie texted. Grandpa was old. Probably confused. "I'm sure you misread the letter." I didn't reply. Just heart reacted to the message like a passive-aggressive ghost. The house listing goes live tomorrow. The group chat? Dead silent for days. But I know what's coming next. They're going to try and guilt-trip me into staying in the family. Too late. I've already packed. 3 days. That's how long the silence lasted before the extended family campaign kicked off. It started with Aunt Lorna, the unofficial family PR manager who's never met a boundary she didn't ignore. She left me a voicemail that started sweet. "We're all just so concerned, honey," and quickly turned hostile. "What you're doing to your poor mother is disgusting. I don't care what letter you think you found. She's heartbroken." Heartbroken. Right. The woman who laughed at a meme calling me a charity case with Wi-Fi is now the patron saint of broken hearts. Then came cousin Becca, who messaged me on Facebook for the first time since 2016. "Hey, just wanted to say I'm staying out of the drama, but Callie's really hurting. If there's anything you can do to fix this, maybe just talk it through." Fix this. Like I accidentally tripped and sold the house into a pit of betrayal and petty humiliation. I ignored it. Then my phone started blowing up. My uncle, a family friend, even one of Callie's old sorority sisters, who I haven't spoken to since I gave her a ride home from a New Year's party in 2014, texted me. "I just can't believe you'd sell Grandpa's legacy over some jokes. This is so sad." "Oh, honey, you want sad? I'll give you sad." I opened a new Notes app doc. Titled it, "Since We're Being Honest." Then I did the one thing I'd been avoiding. I dropped the truth on the family Facebook group. Yep, that Facebook group. The one where mom posts minion memes about raising strong daughters, and Callie shares her latest #blessed #bridetope updates like she's filming a Target commercial. I didn't rant. I didn't name call. I didn't even curse. I posted for images. Screenshot of the meme calling me this level of useless. Shot of the group chat where mom laughed and added classic, my name. Excerpt from Grandpa's letter with his handwriting circled. Closing statement from the lawyer letter confirming full legal transfer of the lake house. Then I wrote, "For anyone confused about why I'm selling the property Grandpa left me, here's some context. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. But you can only be the family punchline for so long before you write your own script. If this disappoints you, I invite you to review the memes and laughter that preceded it. Consider it a mirror." Then I logged out. 10 minutes later, chaos. Half the comments were outraged, but not at me. Turns out cousin Luis, a quiet guy who's basically the Bigfoot of the family, saw the post and commented. They did the same crap to me when I got fired. Made jokes about me living in my mom's garage for months. Then someone else chimed in. And another. Turns out the group chat had layers. And I wasn't the only inside joke. I sat there watching it unfold like a wildfire made of hurt feelings and overdue payback. Family secrets getting aired out in real time. Old wounds resurfacing. Callie went radio silent. Mom deleted 3 of her most recent posts. Jared actually messaged me. "Bro, damn, that was savage, but fair." I didn't reply. But later that night, I got an email. Subject, apology if that still matters. From Callie. It was short. 3 paragraphs. No excuses, no spin. She admitted she'd been cruel. That the memes were her way of making herself feel better about her own failures. That she resented how Grandpa left me the house, even before she saw the will. That she didn't expect me to forgive her, but hoped I'd at least read what she wrote. And you know what? I did. Because for the first time in this whole mess, it didn't sound like a performance. It sounded like a person who finally realized the difference between, "we're just joking," and "you've been hurting me for years." I haven't replied yet. I might. I might not. But I know this. The lake house is under contract. The buyers are a retired couple from Vermont who want to turn it into a pottery retreat. They offered $30,000 over asking. And me? I booked a solo trip to the Pacific Northwest. No plan. Just a rental car, a backpack, and a Spotify playlist titled, "Not a Punchline." Because for the first time in years, I don't feel like one. So, the wedding, or should I say, the event formerly known as Callie's fairy tale, turns out when your maid of honor, 2 bridesmaids, and your future mother-in-law all find out via a Facebook family implosion thread that the bride was mocking her own brother while banking on a free lakeside venue that was, in fact, being listed on Zillow. People start dropping out. Fast. It started with the venue backup plan. After I made it clear the lake house was not available for wholesome aesthetic wedding content, Callie pivoted to some rustic barn location an hour outside of town. Problem was, it wasn't available on her date. So she moved the date. Then the florist dropped her. Apparently, Callie forgot that publicly mocking people online has consequences when your florist is friends with one of your former classmates. Small world. Then the groom's mother called it a blessing in disguise and pulled the funding for the open bar. That was the nail in the coffin. No open bar? Half her guests bailed before the invitations even went out. Then came the rehearsal dinner. Or what was supposed to be the rehearsal dinner. Spoiler, it didn't happen. Why? Because 2 days before it, the groom, let's call him Ryan, found out he had his own folder in the family group chat. Yep, buried among the memes about me was a little subfolder titled, "Or Why Guy Cringe." Jared added it. Callie contributed most of it. It included screenshots of text where Ryan gushed about their first date, and Callie added captions like, "Is this a man or a soggy napkin?" and "He's lucky I'm bored." There was even one where she joked that she only got engaged because diamonds look great with my complexion. Guess who forwarded the folder to Ryan? Not me. Apparently cousin Luis has entered his vigilante arc and decided it was time for everyone to know what had been said behind their backs. I found out when Ryan called me. Didn't even know he had my number. He started with, "So hey, you've been through some ST, huh?" We talked for over an hour. It was the most I've ever liked the guy. Turns out he wasn't the problem. He was just one more person caught in Callie's orbit of self-centered chaos. Then, the final blow. Ryan broke up with her. 2 days before the wedding. Didn't do it in person. Didn't do it over the phone. He left a letter taped to her apartment door that started with, "This isn't about your brother. It's about you not being who I thought you were." I didn't hear this from Callie. I heard it from my dad. Yeah, my dad. The man who's usually about as emotionally available as a houseplant with a gambling problem. He called me. Said, "She's not taking it well. Thought you should know." Then he paused. Long enough that I thought the call had dropped. Then he said, "You were right." That's it. 3 words. And somehow, it hit harder than every voicemail mom left over the past week, her latest gem being a picture of me at age 3, covered in birthday cake, with the message. "He used to smile so easily. I miss that boy. Ma'am, that boy grew up and got tired of eating metaphorical cake while everyone else laughed at the mess. So here we are. The wedding is canceled. Callie's Instagram went dark. Mom is devastated and wants a family sit-down that I'm not attending. Jared, in an unexpected turn of events, sent me a Cash App request labeled for emotional damages. I declined, then sent him a meme of a dumpster fire with his face photoshopped on it. The lake house sale closes next Tuesday. The buyers sent me a picture of their dog swimming in the lake with the caption, "We're gonna love this place." Good. Someone should. Me? I'm flying out tomorrow. Got an Airbnb near the coast, just me, my journal, and a 6-pack of "I told you so." Because for the first time in my entire life, I'm not the joke in the room. I'm the punchline they didn't see coming. I wasn't going to answer the door, but she kept knocking. Not gently either. This was the kind of knock you use when you still think you're in control of the house and the people inside it. It was 9:43 a.m. I had just made coffee and was trying to decide between packing boxes or throwing my phone in a lake when the pounding started. I opened the door, and there she was. Ruth, my mother, in pearls. Wearing pearls like this was a 1950s drama, and she was about to faint into a chaise lounge. She didn't say hi, didn't ask to come in. She walked past me like it was still her house. Set a dusty photo album on my kitchen table like she was slapping down a subpoena. "I thought maybe you needed reminding of where you come from," she said. "Lady, I remember. I remember every backhanded compliment, every time I got an eye roll instead of praise, every maybe next time when I won something that wasn't worth bragging about to the church group. I didn't sit. She did. She opened the album and started flipping through old photos like we were about to cry over simpler times. "Look at you here," she said, tapping a picture of me at age 6 holding a fishing pole twice my size. "You were always so sensitive. Grandpa used to say you were different." "Right. He also said you were full of it, Ruth." I stayed silent. Then she pulled out a sealed envelope. "This was in your baby box. I wasn't going to show it to you. But since you're so invested in truth lately," her voice did that thing where she tried to sound maternal and threatening at the same time. Like a threat wrapped in a hug. I took the envelope. No return address. No date. Just my name on the front in handwriting that definitely wasn't hers. Inside was a letter from someone named Laura, my biological mother. Let me repeat that. My biological mother. Turns out Ruth couldn't have kids. Not easily. Not naturally. Not without arrangements. She and my dad adopted me when I was 6 months old. It was supposed to be a closed adoption. No contact. No messy feelings. Just a blank slate baby they could shape into the golden child they never got. And then they had Callie. The miracle. Ruth never told me. Never hinted. But it made sense. So much sense. The disconnect. The way I was always slightly outside the circle. The way Grandpa treated me differently better, like he knew I wasn't part of whatever show Ruth was trying to run. "You were never supposed to feel like an outsider," she said. "No. I was supposed to play my role. Quietly. Gratefully. Forever." I asked her why she never told me. She said, "Because you were ours. And you didn't need to know. Until now." What she meant was, until you became inconvenient. Until I stopped nodding. Until I stopped laughing at the jokes and started responding with legal documents. I asked if Dad knew. She looked down. Didn't answer. Which told me everything. So now I'm sitting in a kitchen that doesn't feel like mine anymore, staring at a photo album that was curated to sell me a lie. A lie I bought for 35 years. She left without another word. Just stood up and walked out, leaving the album open to a picture of Callie's 5th birthday, her in a tiara, me in the background holding an empty gift bag and trying to smile. My phone buzzed an hour later. A message from a number I didn't recognize. "I think I'm your mother. If you're willing to talk, I'd like to explain." From Laura. So now what? Read it? Now the family I knew is gone. The sister who made me a meme lost her wedding. The mother who never really was just detonated a secret she buried for decades. And the one woman who might actually give me the truth? She's waiting. After the wedding blew up and the Facebook fallout turned our family group into a digital graveyard, I thought I was done. I really did. The lake house sale was wrapping up. My phone was mostly quiet, except for Mom leaving voicemails that started with sniffles and ended with threats. Callie had gone dark. Even Jared stopped trying to meme his way through the rubble. I was finally breathing again. Then she showed up. Mom. On my porch. Wearing pearls like we were in a Tennessee Williams play, and the heat of her own lies wasn't making her sweat. She didn't say hi. Just walked past me with a dusty old photo album like she owned the damn lease on my trauma. "I thought maybe you needed reminding of who your family is," she said, like I developed sudden amnesia and didn't remember being called useless in a group chat by the people in those glossy pictures. She opened it. Photos of birthdays I barely remember, fishing trips I wasn't invited on, and Callie in every other frame like she was the main character of my life story. Then she pulled out an envelope. "This was in your baby box," she said. "Figured you should see it now, since you're so obsessed with truth." Inside was a letter. Not from her. From someone named Laura, my biological mother. My ears rang. Like, actual ringing. I reread the name 3 times. She sat there with this expression like she expected gratitude. Like I'd throw myself into her arms and say, "Thanks for revealing I've been living a lie at 35 years old." Ruth. Always the queen of timing. I didn't say a word. Just stared at the letter while she adjusted her pearls and left like she'd just dropped off a casserole, not a generational secret. The next day, I met Laura. I picked the diner off I-83. Quiet. Neutral. Hard to lie in a place that smells like burned bacon and Windex. She was already there. Older than I expected, but the resemblance was immediate. Same tired eyes. Same hesitant smile like she was used to being the one who gets left. She didn't cry. Neither did I. We just talked. She told me she was 19. Broke. Scared. Ruth and my dad found her through a church contact and offered adoption. At first, they seemed kind, calm, polite, religious. But then came the rules. Laura wasn't supposed to contact me. Ever. Not even a birthday card. Ruth offered her money. Quietly. No agency. No paper trail. Just gifts to help her start over. Then Laura said, "But your grandfather found me." That's when my coffee went cold in my hands. Apparently, a few years after the adoption, Grandpa tracked her down. Gave her more money. Small amounts. Just enough to stay stable. Said he didn't agree with how Ruth handled things. Said if anything ever happened, if they pushed me out, if they made me feel less, she should reach out. He gave her a letter. Told her, if they ever forget he's blood, even if they claim he isn't, remind him who saw him first. I read that letter, right there in a sticky diner booth, with the smell of waffles clinging to my hoodie and the ache of 35 years in my chest. He wrote, "They wanted a doll to raise. I wanted a grandson. I saw the difference. He's not theirs to break." Turns out the man who left me the lake house also left me truth. The kind my mother had been sitting on like a vulture on a family secret. Laura never reached out because she thought she wasn't allowed to. She honored the deal. Until she saw that Facebook post. Until she saw what they'd been doing to me. Until she realized I was finally breaking free and might want to know why it always felt off. Before I left, she pulled out a faded photo. Me, maybe 6 months old, in her arms. My birth name written on the back in pink marker. I never knew that name. I stood in the parking lot afterward, staring at the sky like it might have answers. I thought I'd feel shattered, but I didn't. I felt whole. Like someone finally handed me the last page of a book I'd been stuck reading since I was 6. That night, I went home and opened Grandpa's old lockbox. The one I'd taken from the lake house before the sale. Inside was a second version of his will, annotated, not legal, just scribbles in his handwriting. He wrote, "If Ruth hid this, good. It means you needed it." And at the bottom, scrawled in shaky pen, "You were always mine. Not theirs. Not hers. Yours. Live like it. So here I am. No more group chat. No more lake house. No more apologies to people who never gave me a damn ounce of grace. Just me. My truth. And finally, the freedom to build a life that doesn't revolve around begging to be taken seriously." Ruth gave me a photo album. Grandpa gave me a legacy. And Laura? She gave me the truth. That's all I ever needed.